People say a single moment can change everything, but nobody ever warns you that the moment might arrive as a whisper, as soft as trembling breath on your neck, or as dangerous as a pair of eyes watching you from across the room. The night it happened, I wasn't searching for love. I wasn't even looking for trouble, but when she grabbed my hand with shaking fingers and said, "Kiss me, my ex-husband is watching," I realized some storms don't give warnings, they simply arrive and pull you in. Because the truth? One kiss wasn't enough to save her daughter. It began at a mutual friend's engagement party, one of those gatherings where everyone laughs too loudly and pretends life has been kinder than it actually has. I wasn't planning to stay long, I was only there because my friend insisted that I needed fresh air and maybe a conversation with someone who wasn't my ceiling fan. That's when I saw her daughter, a woman in a simple navy dress, hair falling over her shoulders like she didn't even try but still managed to look breathtaking. Her eyes, God, her eyes carried a story she was trying so hard to hide. The kind of story you don't see unless you've lived through one of your own. She wasn't smiling like the others. She wasn't posing for photos. She stood quietly near the balcony, picking at the edge of a glass she hadn't sipped from, and then she looked at me. It wasn't the look of someone meeting a stranger, it was the look of someone silently asking, "Will you help me breathe just for tonight?" I walked toward her, curious more than anything else. "Are you okay?" I asked. She hesitated, like she wasn't sure whether to lie or collapse. Then suddenly, her gaze shifted over my shoulder and froze. Her lips parted. Her fingers trembled. Before I could turn around to see what haunted her, she stepped closer, too close, and whispered, "Kiss me." I blinked. "Sorry, what?" She didn't repeat it. Instead, she inhaled sharply like she was about to shatter. "My ex-husband," she said, voice thin as paper. "He's watching me. And I don't want him thinking he still controls me." Now I understood pain, fear, a need for freedom wrapped in desperation, but still I couldn't just take advantage of a broken moment. "You sure this is what you want?" I asked softly. She forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Just, please." "Okay," I whispered. I leaned in, gently touching her waist, giving her time to pull away if she wanted, but she didn't. Instead, she closed her eyes like the moment was the first breath she'd taken in months. Our lips met, slow, soft, not passionate but protective, a shield she desperately needed. Then she pulled back too quickly, as if she remembered it was supposed to be a drama, not a story she might start to feel. But I caught her wrist before she fled. "You'll need more than just one kiss," I said, my voice firmer than expected. "If you want to convince a man like him." Her eyes widened, not with fear, but with a strange, fragile hope, and that was the start of everything. We spent the rest of the evening talking, really talking. She told me bits and pieces. Her name was Alina, she had left a toxic, controlling marriage 3 months ago, and tonight was the first time she had stepped into a crowded place without fear tightening her chest. She didn't want to be seen as weak. She didn't want pity, but what she truly didn't want was to feel like her ex-husband still owned the reaction she had inside her own body. "I just want to feel normal again," she said quietly, and I wanted, more desperately than I knew, to help her. When the night ended, she hesitated before leaving. "Thank you," she whispered, "for saving me." I wanted to say it was just a kiss, but even I knew it was more than that. She gave me a soft smile that lingered longer than it should have, and walked away. But as she disappeared into the dark parking lot, I felt it, the gravity of someone whose life had brushed against yours and left a mark you couldn't ignore. And I knew we weren't done, not even close. Alina texted me the next morning. "I hope last night didn't make you uncomfortable." I just panicked. I stared at the message longer than I should have. Part of me wanted to reassure her instantly. Another part wondered why I felt so protective of a woman I barely knew. "You didn't make me uncomfortable," I replied. "But if you ever need someone to stand between you and your past, I'm here." She didn't respond for 2 hours, then suddenly, "Can we meet?" "I want to explain." We met at a quiet riverside cafe. She looked different in daylight, softer, tired, human. Not the woman who needed saving last night, but one who was learning to save herself. We ordered tea, though neither of us touched it. She began talking, not the rehearsed, polished version she gave at parties, the real story. Her ex-husband had never hit her. He didn't need to. He used silence, guilt, control. He convinced her that every choice she made was wrong unless it matched his. He told her what to wear, what to say, how much to smile, and when she finally gathered courage to leave, he stalked her silently, showing up everywhere she went. "He believes I'm still his responsibility," she whispered. "His shadow. His possession." I clenched my fists. You're none of those things, I said. She looked at me, then really looked like she wasn't used to hearing that last night. She said slowly, when you looked at me, I felt like someone saw me without wanting to own me. Her words struck deeper than I expected. We walked beside the river afterward. She didn't talk much, but she didn't let go of the small distance between us either. It felt like she was learning how to breathe again. A week passed. We met again, and with each conversation, she grew stronger, laughing a little more freely, speaking a little louder, standing taller. But with each day she healed. Her ex-husband seemed to notice too, because he suddenly escalated. One evening, as we left a cafe together, he appeared in the parking lot. Alina froze. He walked straight to her, ignoring me entirely. I see you've been busy, he said with a cold smile. Is this your new distraction? This is none of your concern, she said, voice shaking but brave. Oh, but it is, he murmured. I know you. You cling to people because you can't survive on your own. That was enough. I stepped forward, placing myself between them. She doesn't need to survive on her own, I said. She just needs to live without you. His eyes narrowed. Who the hell are you? Someone who isn't afraid of the man you pretend to be. For a moment, I thought he might swing at me, but Alina did something I didn't expect. She stepped beside me, linking her arm with mine, grounding herself, and then she said something that changed everything. I'm not scared of you anymore. Her ex-husband stiffened. This wasn't the Alina he remembered. The one he could silence with a glance. This was a woman who found her voice again. You should go, I told him evenly. Your time in her story is over. He left, furious and powerless. When he was gone, Alina turned to me with tears trembling down her cheeks. I didn't do that for you, she whispered. I know. I did it for me. I know, I repeated softly. But I'm proud of you anyway. Then she leaned her forehead against my chest, shaking with relief. It wasn't the kiss that saved her. It wasn't me. It was her choosing herself every single day. But she lifted her head and looked at me the same way she did that first night, except this time it wasn't desperation. It was choice. Can I kiss you? She asked softly. You don't have to pretend anymore. I teased gently. She smiled, really smiled, and kissed me. Not because she needed protection, but because she wanted me, and that kiss? It wasn't to make anyone jealous. It wasn't to escape her past. It was the beginning of our future. A future built not on fear, but on freedom, and love that grew from courage.